will give life to those dormant viruses. Okay? Calcium, ionized calcium in the tissues. Have you guys ever heard me talk about calcium in the tissues before? All the time, hopefully, right? Calcium in the tissues and L-lysine are your first two brakes to any virus, keeping them in check. If those drop, your calcium drops, if your lysine drops, and you have high arginine foods, you will wake those viruses up. So just pay attention to these foods. Really pay attention. If you start eating these, and you notice you got a little more joint pain or your headache comes right away, you're probably giving life to that virus. So what you want to do is make sure you have calcium and lysine to put it in check, and just be selective with these. A lot of people that have herpes are aware of these food lists that will flare those herpes up. Okay?
So is there a way of isolating those as to what really causes the virus?
It's the amino acid arginine that causes that. Why? I couldn't tell you why. So here's some key points to remember right now. If you have chronic viral infections, foods high in arginine will feed those viruses. If you have chronic bacterial infections, strep, staph, things like that, dairy, especially milk and ice cream, will feed those bacteria and give life to those infections. If you're a yeast person and you have chronic yeast infections, sugar, fruit, okay, will wake those yeast infections up and fuel them. So, now this is getting to your question, Dolores, okay? Calcium herpes in the gut. Several top immunologists believe the single most critical disease-fighting element in the human cell is ionized calcium. When calcium is present and ionized in the body, that means you're actually absorbing it. You can't take Costco calcium and hope this works. You cannot. You cannot take synthetic vitamins and hope this works. And I'm sad to report, close to 99% of your vitamins out there in the market, you find them at Whole Foods, you find them at natural grocers, your neighbor's selling them. All these vitamin companies come out of nowhere, and they're, promoting health, and they're all made from carbon in labs, and they're made from tar. They're not made from real food. So you have to have the right supplements. They have to be whole food supplements. And even though if you go to Walgreens or somewhere and you see something that says whole food vitamin, they're putting a fraction, and I mean less than 1% of whole food in there. The rest of it is all synthetic. Okay? And they do that so they can say, look, whole food vitamin. Whole food vitamin. They do that, but a minority of it. Real vitamins are hard to come by. You're not going to get those from people that are not doctors. You have to get the right nutrition from the right professionals. Okay? Everything we use comes from farms. Farmland. I have people all the time come in and say, hey, I want you to sell this product. And I go, where's your farm? Do what? Where's the farm you get this from? It's from Nebraska. Oh, okay. Okay. Let me give you a quick example of a synthetic vitamin versus a real vitamin. People go in the stores and they grab high potency vitamin C. Let me give you a hint. Anything that says high potency on it is synthetic. All right? High potency is synthetic. Vitamin C, okay? Vitamin C. You go to a store and you grab a bottle and it's going to say 1,000 milligrams of ascorbic acid, right? Ascorbic acid is not vitamin C. Vitamin C is made of P vitamin, J vitamin, K vitamin, a whole organic mesh of bioflavonoids, organic copper, because it activates the adrenals. When you're in trouble and you're sick, and you got an infection, you need something to kick your body into gear, and that's organic copper, only found in real vitamin C. So there's a whole thing put together that only God himself could make, and we're trying to duplicate it, and we can't. And people are getting sick all the time taking this junk. And we're here just to give you the truth, folks, okay? So when you have real calcium in your gut, and it has to be an acidic environment for you to even absorb it. If your stomach acid is not on par, if your digestive system is not working correctly, you're not going to absorb these nutrients. You can't absorb B vitamins. You can't absorb any of this stuff. Okay? So when you have the correct process going on your digestive tract. You take calcium, vitamin D, one of the many things it does is it takes that calcium, puts it into the blood vessels. Okay? And now vitamin F, essential fatty acids, hemp oil, flaxseed oil, that's what vitamin F is. It will take that from the blood and push it into the tissues. When you have calcium in your tissues, Carl, do you sunburn with calcium in your tissues? No, neither do I, and that's remarkable because I could go mow the lawn and I'd be bright red afterwards. But that's a vitamin F deficiency. When you're sunburning, you're deficient in fatty acids and probably calcium. I can do that now and be out all day long and not sunburn at all. Okay? Using nutrition for function. So whenever you have calcium in the tissues, that's your shield. It keeps the viruses in check. It keeps them dormant. Supplementing too much vitamin D in the wintertime, okay, it takes a lot of vitamins, it takes a lot of calcium to metabolize vitamin D. If you go out in the sunlight, okay, and the sunlight makes you feel worse, you're out there for an hour, you're gardening or doing something, and you get inside your house and you're like, man, I don't feel so good, I got a headache. What you've done is you've got your vitamin D level went up so high that now you've depleted your calcium because it takes a lot of calcium to metabolize that vitamin D. You pulled the calcium out of your tissues, you've just released those viruses, and that's why you have viruses. So people that say sunlight makes me feel worse, that's a viral person. They're going to have to keep their calcium level in their tissue high the rest of their life.
So if you have nutritional deficiencies, will it still work? Like, should you still take a lot of calcium if, like, your digestive system, if you said that you need to have
Probably not. You'd probably need to be muscle tested to even make sure your body can accept it. Okay? There's a big difference between having viable nutrition sitting in front of you and being able to absorb it. Okay? You guys all have pens. Write this down. Do you know if you eat one piece of raw broccoli, one piece of raw broccoli. Sorry about the slurring. I'm getting lightheaded here. One piece of raw broccoli. You will get one nutrient value from that. You're going to like this. If you lightly steam that broccoli, you'll get 2 nutritional values from it when you absorb it. Okay? If you lightly cook that broccoli in Kerrygold butter, grass-fed real butter, your nutritional credit you're going to get from that broccoli is now 9. 9. Yeah. So there's a big difference between having a piece of food in front of you and being able to maximize the nutrient value you can get out of that. Does that all make sense?
What did you do to keep the 9?
Well, the fat soluble helps the broccoli. Oh, I'm sorry. You lightly cook it with butter. Lightly cook it with butter. And now you're getting 9 nutrients from that. Throw me on the spot there. Just a tablespoon. Yeah.
Like a sliver.
Yeah, sliver. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, I've got butter in my coffee. I eat butter all the time. All the time. You want that. Slab it on. You want those fats. Yes?
How about olive oil? Like, just put a little bit of olive oil on top of your broccoli? Is that
I would say that is great for salads, those kind of things, but you don't want to cook with olive oil.
No, I'm just saying after you steamed it.
Yeah, and you likely still get the same benefit because you're having a fat with that lightly steamed. I wouldn't use olive oil as a cooking oil though.
Right. It's smoked and it's ketchup.
Mm-hmm. So herpes 1, cold sore, right? They look pretty innocent, right? Herpes 1 appears to be particularly damaged to the nerving system. This is right out of a medical journal here. So again, are you guys seeing a pattern? Viruses will attack nerves. Viruses will attack nerves. Nothing keeps a virus dormant like calcium in the tissue, but you have to have all those things. You have to have a gut running on all cylinders. You have to have proper vitamin D, and you have to have essential fatty acids to keep that calcium in the tissue. Herpes 2. Genital herpes. These viruses are reactivated by illnesses such as colds, influenza, eczema, emotional, physical, gastric upset, fatigue, injury, menstruations, or exposure to bright sunlight. There it is. So you've gotten way too much vitamin D, or in the wintertime you're supplementing too much vitamin D. You're depleting your calcium reserves. You're waking these viruses up. It's that simple. Does all that make sense? You've got to hear about 30 more times before it sinks in, right? I was there. Okay, herpes 6 infects nearly every human being, typically by the age of 2. Okay? Acquisition of this in infancy is usually symptomatic, causing childhood fever, diarrhea, rash. It also persists as a chronic infection, nearly undetectable by most current diagnostic tests. Okay? I'm amazed at what her and I see in practice. We see people that have been everywhere, seen every kind of doctor imaginable, and they've been with experts that run nothing but tests their whole life. Thousands and thousands of dollars. I've seen people get a CAT scan and an MRI because of a sinus infection. Okay? All these tests, thousands of dollars worth of tests, all these people do is run test after test after test. And I'm amazed at how most of the answers, if not all the answers, are I don't know. I don't know. Where'd your multiple sclerosis come from? We don't know. How did I develop rheumatoid arthritis? We're not sure. Why does my back hurt? I couldn't tell you. Where's my asthma come from? We don't, no idea. No idea. Where do my food intolerances come from? Not sure. Why are you a doctor? Just see it every day, and it's baffling. Okay? Growing evidence suggests that herpes 6 plays a role in a subset of several chronic conditions: multiple sclerosis, cancer, optic neuritis, again, attacking that nerve, epilepsy, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, AIDS, seizures. Again, right out of a medical journal. Nobody's telling you this. These viruses love to attack nerves. And sometimes they get to the point where they're hard to get on top of too. So, herpes zoster. So these viral infections are important to understand. Epstein-Barr, cytomegalovirus live where? Yeah. I think I heard over here first. Liver, yes, liver, right? Herpes zoster lives in the dorsal root ganglion right here in the spinal cord in the back. It's brilliant. It hides there. If you've had chicken pox, you have this guy. Okay? He's brilliant. He hides from the immune system here. He waits dormant in the nervous system until your immune system's compromised or you have stress. Chronic stress makes your cortisol level go up, makes your immune system turn off, and you will wake this guy up. Guess what else will? High arginine foods, low calcium, low lysine. You will wake this guy up, and it'll attack your nervous system, and you'll develop that rash, which is your shingles. Okay? That's your shingles. Parvovirus, also called Fift's disease. This one attacks preschoolers and school-aged children during the spring in the form of a rash on cheeks, arms, and legs. In adults, it can lead to seronegative arthritis. Again, this means it won't show up on lab tests. We're not sure. We're not sure why you have arthritis. Women are twice as likely to experience arthritis after a parvovirus infection. It's estimated up to 25% of all new cases of arthritis are due to this dormant parvovirus. And this virus is strongly associated with dogs. So you keep kissing your dog in the mouth and letting him lick on your table that you're eating on and everything else, and you're going to run into this guy. So now we're going to change gears a little bit to Candida. Candida infection. Okay? This is a yeast overgrowth, but it's much more than that, as we'll see in a moment. Driving factors that influence it. Absolutely the most critical one is high fructose corn syrup. If you have anything containing high fructose corn syrup in your diet, you will never get rid of this guy. This has been documented since 1804 as a cause of cancer. I know a doctor, I got this source from a doctor named Greg Hollingsworth. He does not treat cancer. Does not treat cancer. His clinic is booked out all next month with nothing but stage 4 cancer people. He won't even see most of you. He'll turn you down and say there's other docs that can help you. Because he's waiting for people that are dying. What does he do? He gets rid of their candida and their tumors disappear. You will never get rid of this if you have high fructose corn syrup in your diet. Birth control, hormone therapy, steroids, these all close that pathway. Remember these? Steroids, antihistamines, antacids, antibiotics, okay? Again, you're blocking the pathway, keeping your detox centers turned off. You're going to bring life to this guy. Blood sugar imbalances, okay? If you're a diabetic and you have elevated blood sugar, you will not get rid of this guy until you get that blood sugar under control. Weakened immune system, hepatitis B shot, and again, the good old high-processed, high sugar American diet will fuel this guy. So Candida is a fungal microbe that feeds on decomposing tissues. Okay? This guy I was talking about, Dr. Greg, he is a leading expert on Candida. He's a good friend of our family. We sat down and had lunch with him the other day. He is unbelievable. World of knowledge. Getting ready to retire, so he's looking for, someone like us. Try to keep it going. There's not many docs like us out there. Have you heard in the last few years there's been a lot of holistic doctors that have been killed mysteriously? Right? Better support the ones that are here, because there's only a few. One of the most powerful and organized microorganisms known is Candida. And brilliant, I might add. It's extremely brilliant. There's over 150 species that have been documented in the body, over 1,000 remaining unnamed. Travels in the body and the blood and the lymph. The best, most reliable test to find this guy and monitor how it is in your body is a spit test. A spit test. Hey, guess how much that costs? It's free. Yeah, it's free. All right? Because your saliva is actually lighter than water, and you want to make sure you do it properly. You pour the water in a clear crystal glass somewhere. Have a flashlight handy. That's useful. Might put a little sticker on that glass to say, don't drink out of it. Okay? Pour some water in it, set it down, and let it sit overnight. And the water molecules will stabilize. Okay? And you'll build that nice surfactant water tension on top. You guys ever seen a bug run across the water? It's because of the surface tension of these molecules. You want that present in this glass. You let it sit overnight. That's a great way to make sure it happens. Then you gently spit. I would picture a lemon or something like that to kind of help make the saliva be produced. Spit on this glass. Shine it with a flashlight real good. And if you have to, leave it for 60 minutes or so and keep watching. If you see something sinking, stringy legs, something that goes right to the bottom, that's Candida spores. Every time. And that's the only way to monitor it, to make sure until when you spit and nothing happens, you're good. Okay? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just to clarify, so you get a glass of water, put water in it, let it sit overnight, and then you spit in it.
In the morning. First, I'm sorry, great question. Thanks for bringing that up. First thing in the morning before you eat or before you drink. That's very accurate. Okay? And then just monitor it. That's how you do it. And did you have a question over here? Are you sure? It should stay right at the top. And like I said, get a very powerful flashlight and shine it right on that guy, and you'll see it more than you will with your eye. Okay? This is all from him. All from Greg. I got to give him credit. Travels to the body. It It has the ability to develop a beak-like structure that allows easy penetration of the host tissue. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. This stuff can adapt and reproduce at any size. It almost sounds like an alien, the intelligence of this thing inside of you. It can morph depending on the environment from unicellular, from the mass, only to regroup later. So it can be a mass inside your body, inside your leg, somewhere, and split up into single cell, go all over your body, regroup later. Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah, it sounds like.
It's an alien, right? Here's another point to kind of think about that's extremely important. Cancer cannot survive without Candida present. Cancer cannot survive without Candida present. Candida fuels it, it nurtures it, lets it grow. Like I said, 1804, fungus and cancer were directly established. 1804. They haven't told us yet, though, have they? It hides its presence in the host organism by its transformation ability. It can mimic tissues. It can completely hide from your immune system. It has the ability of making modifications to its own metabolism to overcome defense mechanisms. So it can hide, it can transform. I've had so many people come in to me and say, I did a Candida treatment, and that's the first thing that shows up. And I say, hey, do a spit test. Oh, it hit the bottom right away. Okay. All right. How much did you pay for that Candida formula? Anyway. So it's able to modify its metabolism. If the host gets nutritional deficient, if their nutrient levels start to drop, Candida can actually change from a competitive organism in the body to now it can morph and slow its metabolism and become more social, just so it stays there. So it's extremely difficult to get rid of. This stuff is more difficult to get rid of than cancer is. Generates, now this is real interesting and probably one of the biggest reasons for its success. Generates more ATP from one sugar molecule than ordinary bacteria. So in other words, life currency. ATP is adenosine triphosphate. That is the life currency for every living thing, from plants to ants to blue whales and us. That is our energy currency for life. That's why we have to eat food, to make ATP. Okay? This organism can generate 18 times more energy than bacteria can from sugar. So it's extremely efficient. Extremely efficient. 1804, I keep talking about 1804. How many times is he going to bring 1804? Well, it's also in 3,500 articles in PubMed, one of the most trusted scientific organizations out there. 3,500 articles alone linking it to cancer. So now we're going to change gears a little bit and do a little case study here. Actually, no, I lied. So we're going to talk about some diseases directly linked to Candida. Multiple sclerosis, Lou Gehrig's, psoriasis, epilepsy, diabetes, Alzheimer's, chronic degenerative diseases, connective tissue disorders, allergies, chronic fatigue, autoimmune. Number one cause of autoimmune. Number one cause of leaky gut is Candida. Acid reflux, asthma, irritable bowel, celiac disease. Celiac disease didn't come around until we started introducing glyphosate into our food. Now we have less minerals. Now we have more allergy problems. People always want to talk about our cells being broken. Your body's broken. It's your body, it's your body. I'll tell you something. If we found one human cell on a planet out there, on a foreign planet, it'd be the greatest discovery of mankind. There's nothing wrong with your body. It's either cell function or cell signaling. Cell function comes down to the inner mechanics we can alter. We can treat those with nutrition and minerals, okay? And ensure that there's no stealth infections present. Ensure we're keeping all our viruses in check. That's cell function. Cell signaling is what is the message you give to your body every day. When you go on a nice walk in a park somewhere and you're around trees and nature, okay? When you do mild exercises like yoga, when you are doing bike rides, mild exercise like that, as long as it's not the Tour de France, okay? You're sending signals to your body, and those signals directly affect the function. If you have toxic relationships, if you are not happy with yourself and you're sending yourself the wrong messages when you look in the mirror every day, you're fooling yourself if you think you can reach optimal health by taking vitamin D and multivitamins. So now let's change gears. We're going to do a case study. This girl is actually in the audience right now. Okay, Kara, she came to us at 34 years old. She was diagnosed with Crohn's. She had severe abdominal pain, anxiety, and depression. Little history, she was in and out of the hospital every week, failed to get into remission. Now, she has a beautiful little daughter that gets along fantastic with ours. They're similar age. This girl was so fearful because of her pain. Every time her daughter ran at her, she had all her alarm system went up. Don't. Because of how tender her intestinal area was. It's okay. Come on over here. You going to take over? So, okay, it's $1,000 per month in medication. Hospital wanted to remove a section of her bowel due to diverticulitis, or Crohn's, or ulcerative colitis, or colitis, whatever you want to call it. Sorry about that. Whacked her in the head. Okay? So she began treatment with us in mid-September. What we found was Candida parasites present. None of these doctors could find that. That's what was present. This is mid-September. Okay? By October, feeling much better, pain reduced 85%. By November, she had no pain, ate a normal Thanksgiving dinner with her family, which hasn't occurred in over 3 years, and her anxiety was completely gone. Gut and brain. Gut and brain. My next case study, you'll see a little bit more of that. Okay? Gut and brain. These two are so connected.
Did she still have Crohn's though? Is Crohn's still there?
I'll tell you what. These diagnoses, okay, and you can call it whatever you'd like. You can call it asthma. You can call it rheumatoid arthritis. You can call it any name you'd like to. And they keep coming up with more and more names. Your body is not wired to make mistakes. When you are born, you're the age where you have your own diaper and you're running around, your body is completely through making mistakes. Like I said, disease only occurs in people for one of two reasons. Cell functioning is lost or poor cell signaling. Okay? And they call it what they want. I've seen so many different diagnoses, and all this was a Candida overgrowth. They convinced her she had Crohn's. She goes back to the hospital with no pain, and you know what the hospital staff tells her? I'd let you. You want to say it?
Well, I mean,
You only think you have Crohn's.
you will, yeah. Yeah, they would tell me many times, and I would tell them about this, and they would say, well, you just think you're better. Okay.
You can't make this up.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You can't make this stuff
So
up.
to answer your question, I say I do not have Crohn's because I do think they kind of tricked me into putting a title on what was wrong. But I was on medicine for 5 years and I wasn't any better. So I got better, and this September will be 2 years, and I've not had a single surgery. And they're kind of mad at me. They don't understand why I'm better. I've gone off all of my meds, and they're ticked. So they're always trying to find something that's, oh, now it's my gallbladder. You need to have your gallbladder out.
They keep trying, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the latest I've heard from her is they keep trying to scare her with C. diff. You need to get in here and get an antibiotic because you have C. diff. And I'm like, I don't. You know what she's done is she's become her own doctor.
Yeah.
She's become her own doctor. That's what the goal for all of you is. At my next lecture, it's going to be very, very in-depth about nutrition, things like that. But I'm also going to give you a very interesting story in the beginning about the era we're living in and the spin of information we're dealing with. And, they call it Crohn's, they call it ulcerative colitis. I learned this in school. Okay, I also worked in a hospital for over a year. So I've seen it all. I've seen about everything you could think of 12 times. Okay? That's a big reason I do what I do today, is to give people answers. This was nothing more than a massive Candida overgrowth in her gut, causing her severe pain. And guess what? Every single person that comes in that has these problems have a stealth infection that completely escaped traditional medicine. That's why they're pissed. Pardon my French. That's why they're upset, because they don't understand why. The textbooks say it's this. Now you come in and it's fine. This doesn't make any sense. They're in the shadows. They're thinking in the shadows of that cave. Parasites, one of my favorite topics. Okay? Our clinic has never seen another doctor, pediatrician, naturopathic doctor, DAPC, internist, okay, or another functional medicine doctor ever catch a parasite in a person or a child. Ever. So these two here, Giardia and Cryptosporidium, are waterborne. I figured this is a good time to talk about this because it is summertime. We're outside a lot more. We're near water. We're near rivers. We're near lakes. These guys here will cause uncontrollable diarrhea. They will literally poop their pants. Okay? We had a guy come in several weeks back, came from the Ozarks, bragging to me about, I was at the Ozarks having a blast. And I said, so you were in the water? Yes. What can I do for you? I've had diarrhea for a month. It's bad. First thing I said was, did you poop your pants? Yes. I said, got one of these. That simple. So, look at these symptoms here. Constipation, gas, bloating. Parasites have visited us all. It's gross, so we don't like to talk about it. Poorly washed produce. Okay? Pets. Anyone that has access to cats, dogs, animals. All right? Parasites have visited us all. Anemia. Skin conditions. Nervousness, anxiety, teeth grinding. Immune dysfunction. Stomach abdominal pain. Allergies. Muscle and joint pain. Sometimes it will shoot. You might have shooting pain. Or it feels like it moves. Anyone ever have arthritis that moves? Doctor tells you it's arthritis and it goes from here to here, here to here. No, that's not arthritis. It will be there every single time. It'd be there every time. Sleep disturbances, very common. Fatigue, cloudy thinking, food sensitivities, increasing symptoms at full moon. Do I have any teachers in here? What's a full moon like? Horrible. Anyone work with the public? In the hospitals, police stations, things like that? What's a full moon like? Those are your parasite people. Simple. Okay? I explained to a lady the other day, she told me, it felt like I was having my menstrual cycle, but this is nowhere near time. Okay? I look up and there's a full moon, we're outside, and I said, the bugs are hatching inside of you. The full moon regulates the cycle of these things, and that's when they're most active and that's when they hatch. So people are crazy during full moons. That's why. Children especially. Okay? That's simple. Parasite. Those are your parasite people. So another case study. All right. This was Adam. He was 12 years old. He was a wonderful kid. I mean, his parents are outstanding people. Health history. He had no health problems until the age of 6. Okay? Then his parents go on a trip to Jamaica. They take a trip to Jamaica together. They come back. He was prescribed antibiotics because he had the start of stomach pain, diarrhea, and nauseous. His parents do tell me that there was a change in his behavior too when he got back. Okay? Change his behavior. He was prescribed antibiotics over the course of this, stronger and stronger. Eventually, he had many other medications added to this list. The pain was present, and now, over a 6 years duration, he starts to develop neurological twitches and tics. Okay? He would blink his eyes real fast on one side. He would twitch uncontrollably, and he was very sporadic. He would interrupt. I'd try to ask his mom something. He would be right there interrupting. Okay? These were very intelligent parents. Okay? They thought outside the box. They were wondering, what has happened? Why now is there new symptoms, okay, with taking these medications? Why now is he twitching and ticking and everything else? This goes on for 6 years. She heard me at a workshop and brought him into us. I said, he's full of worms. The dad he's a real big shot attorney, and he was a little skeptical about this quack over here, okay? And I said, he's full of worms. Well, how do you know? Well, because I can test and find out, okay? Plus your history tells me. What did these other doctors tell you when you told them you went to Jamaica and he changed? We don't know. We don't know. So, he starts seeing us. We put a protein digesting enzyme down him, and he passes what looked like a cup of ramen noodles, went to the bathroom. Both his parents see this, and they freak out. The dad saw this and said, how dare these doctors? Said he was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome a few weeks before seeing us from a well-respected neurologist that this attorney happened to know. He goes back to this, and the kids, he passes in a stool. His twitching completely stops. His stomach pain was like this, and it slowly started doing this, disappearing, and it was gone. And his parents freak out. His dad goes and sees a few of these doctors that they've seen over the last 6 years and tells them what nincompoops they are. Then he gets a hold of this neurologist and says, look at my boy. He's completely normal, and your protocol would have had him on dangerous drugs the rest of his life. Guess what this neurologist told him? There's no such thing as parasites. 10 years worth of school, and that's what you get. There's no such thing as parasites. We've gotten rid of those years ago. He was being serious. He'd never heard of that or learned about it, okay? One of my mentors dewormed a head GI doctor at a hospital's wife. One of my mentors. And this is a head GI doctor. And he saw all kinds of things come out of this woman that he had never seen, and he's the head GI doctor. And guess what? They had to sneak her around his back to bring it to my mentor of a quack. All right? So 3 weeks later, after he sees that, tick's completely gone. I had to sit in several private sessions and explain the importance of gut and brain. Gut and brain. The mother was like, how can something down here affect his brain so much? And here's the truth. Whenever you have these stealth infections going on, especially the parasites and the yeast, okay? We all know that viruses will actively attack nerves, right? Whatever kind of virus it is, they will go after the nerves. I'd explained to her that, we have this delicate layer that lines our intestinal tract. And these kind of things will erode that. And this layer is 1 cell thick. It's thinner than a piece of paper. And that's your barrier. That's your screen door to keep the mosquitoes out. Okay? Whenever you have holes in this barrier, it's like you're letting mosquitoes in your house. That's what food does. Whenever you have partially, not fully broken down pieces of food leak into your bloodstream, which essentially is what leaky gut is, your immune system starts going haywire. And now it can never repair and regenerate and heal because it's constantly putting fires out everywhere else. Okay? And when this goes on for a while, it starts to erode our blood-brain barrier. We have a 1 cell thick layer that covers our entire brain and our central nervous system. It covers our spine. Okay? And if you have infections going on here, you're going to have holes in that barrier, and it's going to affect your brain. You guys ever eat food and all of a sudden you got real bad brain fog? real bad bloating, and all of a sudden you're lethargic. These two are extremely related. And if you want to get rid of anxiety and depression and, all these other neurological components, you have to look at the gut first. Literally, 95% of your serotonin, 95% of your serotonin that regulates your moods is made in the bowel. And if this is kicked off, if this is not working correctly, you're going to have serotonin and dopamine deficiencies. So now what I'd like to do is kind of our gift to you. So I want to flip the camera off. This will not be recorded.